Good afternoon. This is Pat Walker at MissionWinners.com, and I'm glad you're here. I just wanted to give you a heads up. We are having a webinar this Sunday night, and I hope you all can make it. You can say, well, Pat, what are we going to cover in the webinar? We're going to talk about what I do and what I've been doing for 31 years. My background was in teaching. I got involved in the investments field in 1986. I was there for the crash of 87 and everything else in between. In that period of time, I worked really hard and tried to study the markets. I became a student of the markets. What works, what doesn't work. But I also did something else. I sought out people that are the masters in their field, whether it be a Bill O'Neill or a David Ryan or a Martin Zweig or an Ed Sakota. I tried to work or talk with these people, and I was very fortunate that I was able to. But we're having a webinar, and you can sit there and say, hey, my time is valuable. What's this about? What I'm going to do on this webinar is explain what I do and what I've been doing. I'm really big on systems. I'm very, very stringent on the approach that I take, and I'd like to share it with you. It's an idea or a tactics that work. They've worked for years. It's not fancy. To be honest, it's relatively simple. And by so doing that, it helps keep us on track. What are some of the areas we're going to talk about? Well, I'm going to document it. 49% of a stock price's movement is related to the industry and the sector that it's in. So you know what I like to do? I like to take a look at the industries and the sectors. I'm going to show you something right here. I'm involved with MarketSmith, and I've used their product forever. One of the things I like to do is, I'm going to pull this down right here, and I'm going to show you something here pretty nifty. If I can get this out, there we go. This is a listing, if you look right here, of all the industry groups ranked. And I've got it sorted by industry group rank this week. Next, it's industry group last week, 3 months ago, 6 months ago. And you can just go down here and see what are the leading industry groups. Biotechnology is number 1. Computer software gaming is number 2. Steel specialty, number 3. Semiconductor equipment, number 4. I'll stop there, but you can see my point. So I sorted by industry groups. Now I'll show you something really nifty here. I'm going to click on this chart right here. We're going to pull this baby up. And it runs a little slow simply because of the other program I'm running with this Snagit to do it. So I'm pulling up the chart here on semiconductor equipment. Then what I'll do is this. I drag this over, and this is MarketSmith, which I love. Here's the leading stocks, top relative strength and EPS stocks in the group. I bet you know some of those names. These are the stocks that are percent off high. There is overlap here. There's Lam Research on both. But by so doing, I can systematize the approach we take. I want to look for the leading groups, and then I want to look for the leading stocks in those groups. I have custom screens that I use to do that, and I'll show you that on Sunday night. How I do it, I don't have any secrets, okay? You know what the secret is to this game? There is no secrets. It's hard work. But if we become systematized, if we sit here and look at specific, stringent rules, it keeps us on track. What are a couple of the rules? I'll say it again. We look at the leading groups. Then we look at the leading stocks in those groups. Then we look at the charts. I look for clean and simple. Look at this pattern right here. Cup and a handle. There's the cup, there's the handle, and it breaks out right here. Look at the volume when it broke out. They voted right here, taking out those tops at above 960, and now it's just grinding on up. This is current through today. It's a leading group. We let it work. We find leading stocks in those groups. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to really nuts and bolts it for you. But then we're going to take it a step further, okay? I'm really big, as I said, on systems, and I'm really big on trade management and methods to maximize your gains. One of the things I'm really big on is using different moving averages. I'm going to show you some of the ins and outs of using those moving averages. Is it perfect? There's nothing perfect. And anybody that says, oh, this works every time, is a liar. Nothing works every time. But if we can maximize our gains, minimize or eliminate our losses, keep them as small as possible. Oh, and by the way, we will have losses. But if we have methods for getting in and methods for getting out, it works. And we'll be talking about those things. One of my goals is this, folks. I got to share this with you. My goal is to speed up your learning curve. I want to get to the point where you can start doing more and more of this on your own. I produce lists every weekend and send them to the missionwinners.com site. But at the same time, every night when I scan the charts, I come up with what's called the key list. You can say key list, why is it called the key list? Well, this is really original. You don't need to write this down. It's not like buy low, sell high. But these are the stocks that I'm keen on to buy, the key list. So I work very, very hard doing research, and again, I've been doing it for 31 years, so I think you pick up a few things on what to find in winning stocks. If, again, I stress, winning stocks have a few key characteristics. Part of it's the industry group. So we start with that. We nuts and bolts it down to the individual stocks in this groups. This is the type of stuff that we're going to be covering. And I must stress, you can say again, why are you doing this? I love helping people. I love teaching. I'm an IBD meetup co-leader in St. Louis, Missouri. Before that, I taught on the university level years ago. I love teaching. I used to periodically teach outdoor survival skills. I love trying to help people speed up their learning curve. Because you know what, folks? As you listen to this, let's cut to the chase. This can be tough tuna. This can be tough stuff. It's like, man, you get beat up. And it's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to get this work? So we're going to talk about trading approach, investing approach with specifics. And we're going to talk about investing psychology, how to cope when you run into a string of losers. And does that happen? Anybody who says they don't have losers is lying. Anybody who says they never have losers doesn't invest. It's part of the game. What we have to do is figure out how to minimize our losses and how to cope when we have strings of losses. And I've talked to people all over the country. I've talked to traders my age that, honest to goodness, they break down and cry. They're like, man, I'm getting ripped on this stuff. You know what we do? We hash through it. And I'll give you a little trick right now. So trick sounds cute, but it's a fact. It's this. When you get to the point where you're running into a string of losses, start trading smaller. Don't try to make it back. Vengeance trading will kill you. Literally, financially, and maybe physically. We don't vengeance trade. What we do is we pull back and start regrouping till we hit our stride. After we've hit our stride, then we can start picking it up again. But I'm going to share this with you, and I post this a lot on Twitter. And again, go to missionwinners.com and you can see what I talk about. And on Twitter. This is my point. If you're not making money, with 100 shares, what makes you think you're going to make money with 500 or 1,000 shares? If you're not making money with 500 shares, what makes you think you're going to make money with 1,000 shares? Don't do that. Get profitable first, which is good for your pocketbook, but it's good for your head. Hit your stride, and then, and only then, do you pick up the pace. Another trick for you, from a psychological perspective. If everything you're buying fails, well, guess what? Either you're doing something wrong or the market's changed. But until you figure that out, you better back off because you go broke. You don't want to do that. So we've got to control ourselves. I'll share this with you. An individual who had a profound impact on me was Jack Schwager, Market Wizards and New Market Wizards. The psychology at the end of those books. Huge part of this game. I say this a lot. I type this a lot. It's not what's before our eyes. It's what's between our ears that really counts. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things. Are we going to ramble? No, we're not going to ramble. Nobody's got time for rambling. We're going to hit it. We're going to hit it hard. We're going to provide substance for you. And again, my goal is this. I want to help you. I want to pick up your learning curve. I want to speed up your learning curve. Hey, folks, I remember when I was started doing this, man, there was nobody out there to help. And I was like just floundering. I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to do with all this stuff? And I started studying. But I had to figure a lot of it out on my own. There was nobody out there. This was before the internet. It was almost before the telephone. I'm just kidding. Don't. That hurts me, okay? Stop. So, just kidding, just horsing around. But again, I'd love to have the opportunity to explain things for you, to help you. That would be awesome. I love it when I get an email from somebody or a message from somebody that says, hey man, I'm starting to hit my stride here. Thank you very much. That makes me feel really good. It really does. It's satisfying. So that's my goal. That's what I want to strive to do. Again, we're having a webinar this Sunday night. I'm not going to ramble. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I speak professionally for various items, so we're going to cut right to the chase and we're going to make it worth your while. That's what we're after. So I thank you very much. I hope you all have a good afternoon. It's a beautiful autumn afternoon. I'll also share this. It's a good idea at times. Get away from the computers. Do other things. It's good for the eyes. It's good for the head. And I thank you.